campaign for the Dallas Cowboys under Mike McCarthy, Brian Broaddus. It wasn't always easy, but they got the job done. Dak Prescott, 29 of 41, 282 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and a couple of interceptions in that first half. Both touchdowns going to Dalton Schultz. And how about CeeDee Lamb, 11 catches for a 100-catch season for CD. He also has 3 straight 100-yard games, and it was tough sledding on the ground, but they kept plugging away. 19 carries for Ezekiel Elliott and a touchdown. He's got 9 straight games with a rushing score. Malik Davis, 10 carries for 39 yards. As the Cowboys win it 27-13, we want to hear from you. 877-881-1053. That's 877-881-1053 as we celebrate with you until 1 a.m. later tonight. And Brian, overall, I think a big story from this one coming out of it is going to be, what is the health of this football team?
The injuries are a concern here, and especially at center with Tyler Biadasz, because you saw what happened when he went out. They had to make multiple moves across the front in order to cover for his absence. Early report, Michael Gelkin, high ankle sprain is what's being said. I'll be over at the Star tomorrow morning at like 8 a.m. watching that all 22. And, we'll see if we can get a report out of that. I mean, I'm sure they want to do this, the MRIs and all that stuff like that. So we'll wait and see what they officially say about Tyler Biadasz. But, yeah, this game was not going to be easy from a running game standpoint. And, we could talk about backups and all this, that, and the other. When you watch the Titans on tape, it doesn't matter who's in there. They don't let you run the ball.
No, and
they really don't. I mean,
that's a reflection of their head coach, Mike Vrabel.
They are very physical up front. They do not. I mean, the Cowboys just, they couldn't get anything going. They just could not. They could not get any movement. A lot of the plays appeared to me that they were trying more inside running stuff. Maybe they were just trying to out physical the Titans, but that's hard to do. And they got some pride over there too with the way they play. They got, like I say, backup guys. And if you don't get second level blocks, you don't get off to, you don't secure down defensive linemen, you're going to run the ball 32 times for 87 yards. And that's what happened tonight. I mean, you got the victory. Huge part of this game were the penalties on the Titans.
Absolutely.
That really helps
Specifically, the big pass interference calls.
They had a couple of them. And, I was really encouraged by what I saw from T.Y. Hilton.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be those, I was on a couple different platforms, DallasCowboys.com and then here at 105.3. When we were talking about Odell Beckham, I had that vision for what you saw with T.Y. Hilton today. That's the vision I saw of how you get like a guy like that. And then you get T.Y. Hilton and you're like, okay, well, this is cool. Same vision. Third down, throw him the ball, make people miss, drag him, try him down the field. You see what T.Y. Hilton does, and it's teams are going to start to watch tape, the coordinators here of other teams, and they're going to go, geez, okay, they've got now a legitimate weapon that can go with, you go with CeeDee Lamb, and also what Dalton Schultz brings to you catching the ball. So, yeah, you need that secure third down player that is going to take small passes and make them big plays.
Yeah, I mean, you kept on saying when the Cowboys were having their flirtation with Odell Beckham Jr., big part of it is that the Green Bay play, fourth down. Get me a guy who can make a play on that. And T.Y. Hilton, 3 for 3 in this game on third down conversions. He had 4 catches for 50 yards, the long for 28. That came on a third down and 10, which to me was the play of the game.
Turned the corner. Yeah, there you go. He turned the corner. He gets the ball in the move. He shakes a tackler, and now you're up the field. And that's the things that you're going to have to, when you have a guy like T.Y. Hilton, it was good to see that they were able to use him in a way that will be effective going forward.
877-881-1053. I can already see there's certainly frustration from some of the fan base, and you knew that it would happen, right? From the 254, can already tell just from the sound of my voice that that's going to be difficult to stomach some of the positivity. This team struggled against a JV squad, and we're talking about celebrating a victory. Brian, we talked about this earlier.
This time of year, all I'm trying to do is win. I told you at one point, I don't care. If you know what, hey, if Dallas goes and they get beat in the playoffs by Tampa Bay or anybody, whoever, that's not our call. Jerry Jones will then have to make a determination if Mike McCarthy is the right guy and all that. And here I am after a victory with, all I wanted them to do was to win this football game and continue to put pressure on Philadelphia. Was it at a price tonight? Sure. But the NFL every week, there's a price on these games. And so, yeah. But to me, I look at it this way. I'm just trying to maximize this season for what it is. You call it a JV team or whatever. I don't care. A win's a win to me. At this time of year, a win's a win.
Yeah, I agree. I'd encourage that 254 to call in. Let's have a chat about it.
No, I'm not going to yell at you or anything like that.
Yeah, you want to be a keyboard warrior, that's fine.
I just try, like I say, when we evaluate these games in the post game, I'm looking at, okay, what worked, what didn't work? What do you need to get better at? Going into the game, I do have an advantage over a lot of people because I do sit down and watch this tape. And there's things that happened during this game that I expected them to happen.
Yeah, and
we talk about it all week. And so going in that there's going to be some things that are difficult. We talk about the Dak turnovers. We talk about sometimes the lack of a running game. We talk about perimeter run defense. We probably don't talk enough about how many damn turnovers this team gets. They've been getting sacks, turnovers. People were telling me last year, well, sometimes these turnovers, it's kind of a year-to-year thing. It's, if you lead the league one year, you don't lead the league the next. Well, guess who's leading the league in creating turnovers this year? Your Dallas Cowboys.
100%.
I'm just trying to get this thing to the point where they could get the best seeding for their playoff position, play in the best matchup, and then figure out things from there. If they go out and lose a playoff game in the first round, you know what? I will be the first son of a you-know-what here talking about what they probably need to do next year. And I guarantee you there's an 80-year-old owner that's probably thinking the same damn thing.
Hell yeah. If they had lost this football game, you can bet certainly we'd be coming on here with a different tone.
Absolutely.
Point is, they never trailed in the football game. And the only reason Tennessee was in it was because the Cowboys allowed them to be in it because they turned the football over.
Yeah, 3 times.
Did the Cowboys play a clean and perfect game?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Do they have areas they need to improve in? 100%.
Yep.
Bottom line is they won the game by multiple scores.
Yeah.
They're 12-4 on the year.
5-1 against teams with what, winning records? Is that what the teams that
yes.
that we were talking about? Yeah.
They just finished the second stretch this year where they played 3 games in 12 days. And I don't think
this team had a winning record too.
I don't think fans realize how difficult that is.
Yeah. I'm not making excuses for this team. I watch enough of the tape and kind of get an idea what they need to do to win these games. And we predict scores. I'm not gloating here. I picked the score right. I kind of knew how this game was going to go. And yeah, I just felt like, when you talk about the Tennessee Titans and you say they're not going to let you run the ball, that's their defense is not going to let you run the ball. And is there some concern for the Cowboys up front? Yeah, absolutely. There should be.
Well, now, you definitely have question marks with the offensive line.
Yeah.
How serious is the Tyler Biotish injury?
Well, yeah, that is going to be a big, big problem because if you don't have your center there, it looks like McGovern, held up well. I can look at the all-22 tomorrow morning and kind of get a little bit better gauge. The thing that I'm worried about is Peters having to play 65 to 70 plays a game. That's the area now that I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
Because, he, at least I'll tell you this, the thing about him is it's not like he had to play the whole season. It's not like Tyler Smith was god awful in week 4. And all of a sudden it's like Jason Peters had to play and he's played the whole year and now he's wore down and can't, maybe Jason Peters can play for you for, the remaining, for this next week and then into the playoffs. That's probably what's going to happen until you get, Biotish right. But yeah, it's a concern. But I knew going in this game they weren't going to be able to run the ball.
Yeah, no, the Titans had one of the best run defenses in the NFL. Now, thought maybe that would be different with the fact that they weren't playing Jeffrey Simmons, who's their best interior defensive lineman.
It could have been worse.
But clearly, it didn't seem to matter.
No. This, like I say, you watch these guys play, you know the problems is they can't defend the pass. And you saw why. Because their corners are really, really young. McCrary and those guys, really young corners. And so what happens is they get turned around, they give up plays, they have penalties. That's the thing that's going to, you threw the ball 41 times tonight and you probably had to do that. It was one of those things that it's just unfortunate that, Dak had the one bad pass. That ball behind Schultz, that's on him. The snap, we'll see about that. Like I say, it looked like to me the ball was up. Maybe Dak pulled a little early. We'll get a gauge on that. But the ball that clanged off Hendershot, that's on him. That's on Dak's totals, but the 3 turnovers. That's and they're all linked to Dak.
No, they are. I mean, as we mentioned during the half, like we will go back and you'd have to look at that exchange with Dak and Biotish.
I saw from the back of the TV copy, the ball came up and then out to the right. So usually when the ball goes the ball will hit the quarterback's hand and go straight down, that means the ball was up. So that, but we'll have to see. Maybe Mike McCarthy, he'll probably say I have to watch the All-22, but it looked like to me the ball squirted out to the right and Dak was kind of maybe leaning back a little bit on that. So him and Biotish, that's the most simple play in football, the quarterback center exchange.
Sure.
Especially when the quarterback's under center. You can't have fumbles on plays like that.
And certainly the first interception, that's not a Dak thing. I think most people, we would all agree on that. That hits Hendershot, and it was a little hot potato and juggled it and went right into Kevin Byard's hands. But the second interception, definitely. That was Dak
clearly behind
forcing it, threw it behind Dalton Schultz, and a good play by Kevin Byard. That's one where Dak would love to have back, but he can't throw that ball, and the ball placement was inaccurate.
Yeah, they're giving up these points. Like we always talk about the middle 8, and they get these turnovers right before half. They're moving the ball, and then all of a sudden you get halftime.
And those are going to kill you against good teams.
Oh yeah. But they've been fortunate. They've beaten good teams this year, though.
They sure have.
5-1 right now.
Yep, absolutely.
Not beating all the bad teams. They're beating some good teams along the way.
27-13. Cowboys get the win over the Titans. They improved to 12-4 on the year. If you are disappointed in the performance, we would love to hear from you. Let's vent. Let's talk about it. 877-881-1053. We will hear from Mike McCarthy. We will hear from Dak Prescott as well. Your official Cowboys postgame show rolls on. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share?
Boys Pepsi Postgame Show. Pepsi, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Brought to you by
AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka. WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time.
Straight I formation, 2nd and goal. Handoff, Elliott, burrowing, pushing, line of scrimmage, goal line, touchdown, Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott with that touchdown run that put the Cowboys up 7-0. And as we mentioned, that is Zeke's 9th game that he has a rushing touchdown. That's the longest active streak in the NFL. Zeke and Emmitt Smith are the only players in Cowboys history with a rushing touchdown in 9 consecutive games. Emmitt had 11 straight in 1995. So shout out to Zeke, and certainly that running game, there wasn't a whole lot going there. Zeke just averaging 2 yards a carry. But Kellen Moore kept dialing up the run. They didn't want to go away from it, and Zeke kept just slamming it in there, and he did have 19 carries, 37 yards, and that 1 touchdown.
Yeah, I think that, to me, when you go back and look at it, there's probably going to be some opportunity to say, okay, maybe you could have bounced this or thought about a little bit more of a perimeter game today, but it was about really man-on-man inside, and the Cowboys didn't win that battle. They just did not win that battle. Hey, Zach, let me ask you something here.
Yeah.
I was just during the break, and this is my mistake that I always make, answering Twitter questions.
I love when you answer Twitter. Clapback Broadus is my favorite.
I'm not trying to be a clapback guy, but I find it interesting that people don't want Dallas to keep playing. They're not.
Oh, because of the injuries.
Yeah, they're just like, no, the 5 seed's okay. Let's stop. Let's not. I don't know how, if you're a fan, how you're a fan, you want your team to just, let's stop. We need to rest. If Philadelphia wins this weekend, I get it. It's, you're going to have an opportunity against the Commanders to do whatever you want. But the whole idea is to try and win the division and try and get the best seed. Mm-hmm. And on my timeline, I'm finding Cowboy fans say, no, the 5 seed's better. Just play that, just go ahead, stop. I really, really don't get it, because the whole idea, you gave away games against Jacksonville and Green Bay that kind of put you in this spot. But as long as you have an opportunity, you have to keep playing.
Agreed.
Like, I'm watching the Vikings play the Colts the other day, down 30-something points. And they didn't quit in the game. They kept playing, and they won the game. And it to me, it's amazing that people just, it's like, no, stop, don't, no more, can't take anymore, can't do this. The injuries are going to happen. They're going to happen in this.
It's part of football, and it's scary. It's scary when you see it happen.
It is. And you had one of the healthiest teams going into the playoffs last year against the San Francisco 49ers and got beat. So everybody's dealing with this thing right now. Everybody's dealing with injuries.
Yep.
Yours are bad, and so are some other teams. Philadelphia's, nobody's feeling sorry for Philadelphia right now, losing guys there, So to me, I just don't understand why people are like, no, Brian, we can't. No more. No mas. Don't want to do this anymore. 5th seed's okay. Really?
It's not.
It's not.
If you have a chance at the 1 seed,
yeah,
you play
got to
for
keep
it.
playing.
You play for it.
God,
not to mention this
folks,
team.
I'm sorry. I mean, I don't get you. I really don't get you. I don't, and maybe I'm sorry, and I'm not acting like I'm the sports know-it-all guy, but maybe you haven't played sports. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you like sports. Maybe you like the Cowboys. But as long as you have a chance, you have to keep playing. Sorry.
Yeah, well, certainly the people in that locker room know what's at stake. And I was a little surprised at the Titans. I get it for the most part, their situation. But they also have an outside, and I know mathematically it's darn near impossible, but there is a slim chance that if they had won tonight and they lost next week, they needed a lot of things to go right to make a wild card. But even that alone would have made me play tonight if I was Tennessee.
Well, their team is to the point where they're starting quarterback. And your starting quarterback for 5 games this year wasn't there. So, to me, Tennessee's plan is, listen, win next week, we win the division, we play at home.
You win and you're in.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as it gets.
That's as simple as that gets for them. But to me, I just don't get it, folks.
Play to win the game, as Herm Edwards once said.
As long as you still have a chance.
Yeah, you got to keep playing.
You got to keep playing.
How sick would you feel if the Saints knock off the Eagles?
Sure.
And you just decided, the 5 seed's fine.
Hey, what? Philly could probably go beat the Giants, and so what? Okay, it's over. Now, but you have to keep going. I'm sorry. I'm different in that way.
No, I think that, you're Super Bowl champion scout. You've lived a life in the NFL, and you're thinking the way that, coaches, players, scouts that are competitors and have participated in the NFL thing.
Yeah.
And that's how it is.
Like I said earlier, you were one of the healthiest teams going into the playoffs last year, and you got beat.
Right.
You got to figure that out. You got to figure out how to, maybe grinding out a game like this so the next couple of weeks will make you will make you tougher about, that mindset that you need to go win one of those games.
Cowboys beat the Titans 27-13. They are now 12-4, first back-to-back 12-win season since 92-95.
Super Bowl team
for the Cowboys. Yeah. Absolutely rarefied air. Postgame show brought to you by Pepsi, made for Cowboys watching. Also by WinStar World Casino and Resort, home to over 8,500 of your favorite electronic games, more than 1,000 table game seats, and 1,400 luxury hotel rooms. It's always a good time at WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy took to the podium, and I'm sure was asked about the health of this football team, what went down in this 27-13 win, and here is what Coach had to say.
Was it intensity, what you wanted to focus for your team?
Intensity? Yeah, no, I think they played hard. I thought our pace of operation and some of our things was a little up and down. I addressed that at halftime. So I thought when we came out and had I think it was a 13-play drive. We got back on the go there. I mean, I just think like anything, when you don't run the ball and you're playing uphill with the sticks, it can tend to happen. So we'll take a hard look at the run game and make sure we're clean. And I think the biggest thing is really to get these 3 days off, because this has been a tough stretch.
Hey, Coach, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. As you guys try to figure out the cornerback position in replacement of Anthony Brown, Deshaun Wright over 50% snaps last game. This game got a lot of burn. Gets his first career interception. What have you seen through coaching?
Well, I mean, Deshaun just continues to just battle if every opportunity he gets. I mean, he plays special teams for us. Last year at a high level, and he's clearly one of the guys you point to take the second-year jump. I think we're seeing that, and but he needs to take another step. I mean, we got another game, and we still want to be able to play and get some rhythm with our defensive personnel. I think clearly we were more fluid this week than we were last week, and and that's definitely a big step in the right direction.
Michael Gelkin, Dallas Rangers. The defense allowed 5 explosives for the first of the game. What did you make of that area? Obviously,
well, I didn't look at the second half coming in. I know we were 9-9, but that's all the big plays, but yeah, I mean, those are plays that are part of the game. I don't have an evaluation for you right now.
John Michelle, The Athletic. What did you think of how Dak played, aside from obviously the 2 interceptions?
I thought he played well. I thought he managed, a couple of situations that, the long down and distances and so forth. His approach, demeanor, is always very, very similar, which is a real strong suit of his, and I think he definitely exhibited that again tonight.
How do you explain the interceptions, or can you explain just the rashes continue?
I don't agree with the word rash. I mean, we had 2 interceptions tonight. One was a drop and one was a minus decision. So, I mean, we'll look at it and, just keep coaching it. But, the answer is not to throw the ball. I mean, the answer is not to overcoach it or overemphasize it. The goal is to be explosive on offense, and the stats speak for themselves.
Mike Edward or ESPN, on the subject of turnovers. Dak has a history of protecting the football. But he's missed 5 games and he can't do the NFL interceptions. All his fault. But the turnovers in general, how do you
don't like them? I mean, it's a key. I mean, you look at my coaching history. You look at giveaways and takeaways. Those numbers speak for themselves. So I can promise you, we're coaching it, we're emphasizing it. He's wired the right way. Our players are wired the right way. So, unfortunately, you go through ups and downs in this league. That's the beauty of how competitive this league is. So, hey, this was a game we needed to get, and we got it done. So, whether we don't get any style points, that's okay. But we're still at 12 wins.
T.Y. Hilton continues to make the most of his opportunities, converted 3 third downs today. How is he just gaining trust inside the building with Dak over time?
I mean, I think it's obvious. Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious. You can see that he's connected. Not only in the receiver room, but on the sideline. I mean, he's a veteran with a lot of pelts on the wall. So I really like the addition.
Mike, what can this mini buy do? If you look at it as a mini buy.
Well, I mean, it's to get healthy. I mean, we're working Monday, so it's important. We'll work tomorrow, and we'll get in there and get in the weight room and get things corrected. But yeah, we don't know if we're playing Saturday or Sunday, so it may not be as long as we think it's going to be.
So 12 wins back to back for the first time since 1994, 1995. What does that mean to you guys? And also NFC East title race. Do you get back and become Saints fans on Sunday?
Well, I'm a Saints fan. Yeah, I'm a Saints fan. No, definitely. Yeah, I mean, this is what the league wanted with putting the division games at the end, and I think it's awesome. I think you look around the league, and I'm looking forward to watching football this weekend. Looking forward to the Monday night game. So, this is the way it's supposed to be. So, yeah, we just got to keep playing. In the biggest thing, and obviously we want the Saints to win, but we want to line up and play for as much as we possibly can, when we line up in Washington. And I think that'll be the best situation for us.
Just piggyback on that, I'm sorry. But you also want to go in the playoffs on a roll. I mean, not just winning, but playing well. And I guess after this game, I don't know if you felt you got it done, but I'm just playing like
yeah, but I'm in tune with the injuries and all the things that are going on, all the little stuff and stuff. So, I mean, it's it wasn't clean. This wasn't a clean performance. We recognize that. I mean, I'm not disputing that at all. I mean, but I do know my football team. I know what they came out of a hard victory on Sunday, and it took them a little longer to get their bodies back. But that's what Thursday night football is. I mean, it's a tough bet. It's a tough challenge when you have to go on the road and all those things. So, but most important thing was we answered the bell and we got it done.
Certainly did. Got it done in Thursday night football. I mean, I think we've seen that throughout the year. It's not conducive for the highest quality of football in short weeks for these NFL teams. 27-13, Cowboys get the win over the Titans. Latest on Tyler Biadasz, it seems to be a high ankle sprain. We'll let you know as more information comes in. They're going to have pictures taken on the ankle tomorrow. I believe they'll also look at Sam Williams' knee as well, but he did come back into the game.
He did come back in, yeah.
So don't think that Sam Williams' injury will be anything serious. I think Biadasz will be the one.
That's the one we need to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. So if we get more information, we'll pass that along to you as well. Zach Wolchuk and Brian Broaddus, we will hear from you. We will go out to the phones, 877-881-1053. We'll also hear from your quarterback, Dak Prescott, as well. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Whether you're getting ready to purchase a home, setting up a college fund for your kids, or preparing...
to the 25. Malik Davis exploding all the way down to the 24 before Kevin Byard.
Malik the Freak Davis, fun to watch him tote the rock a little bit. It was tough on the ground tonight, which we've talked about. Malik Davis, 10 carries, 39 yards, averaging just under 4 yards a carry, but a big 23-yard scamper there as the Cowboys get the win, 27-13, about to hit the phones. We want to hear from you. Also, your texts as well, 877-881-1053 on the official postgame show of your Dallas Cowboys here on a Victory Thursday night with Zach Wolchuk and Brian Broaddus. But first, let's pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Colo, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
All right, let's go out to line 5. We've got Adolfo waiting patiently in Fort Worth. Adolfo, what's going on? You're on the Dallas Cowboys postgame show.
Hey, you guys, this is Adolfo, longtime Tolo. Just want to talk about why is it we always struggle against these bad teams? You know, it's been Houston, Indy, and now Tennessee. Like, these are games we should be blowing them out. Yeah, we won by 14, but it was a 4-point game going into the fourth quarter. Like, I'm stressing over this game at the end when this should be a blowout. And I've been looking forward to Tampa Bay, but now I don't even know because you let Tampa Bay hang around, you know what Brady can do.
Sure.
You know, so I mean, it's been like this for the longest I can remember. It's like every time we go up against a bad team, you just never know. It's like they always fall asleep. Like, I don't get it.
Appreciate the call, Adolfo.
Yeah, thank you. To me, you played a very physical, emotional game, against Philadelphia on Saturday. You have to deal with that. You deal with the travel and all that. And then now you're playing a game on Thursday night against a team that defensively is physical up front.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't playing, several of their players, or it probably could have been a little bit worse for you. But, I've always kind of been under the impression that the narrative is Dallas beats the bad teams and can't beat the good ones.
Last year,
yeah,
that was the narrative.
Have that always
this time
been the
last year.
I don't know which way the fans really wanted here. I just tweeted out Warren Sharp, Cowboys. I mentioned that the 5-1. They're the team. They're 2 games clear of Philadelphia for victories over teams that are 500 and better right now.
Well, and they've still got the biggest point differential in the NFL in a victory, which was their 37-point win on the road against Minnesota.
Yeah. So, it's, to me, I look at this. I look at this as, how hard it is to win games this time of year and what's on the line for a lot of these guys. And not every game is a blowout, Not every game is a blowout. That Houston Texan team you saw following week after the Dallas, then they play Kansas City.
Sure.
That was a train wreck, but they took them to overtime, I believe. Kansas City. I think Kansas City is one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
Houston Texans, to me, this is the problem. This is the problem, is you need to figure out what you want out of this team. You need to figure that out. One week you're, this is not any good, and then the next week, this is not any good, and then you're back to something else. I kind of feel like, though, to me, I appreciate the wins a lot more than others, I think.
It's hard to win in the NFL,
I just do. At living this, I swear, if you guys could sit in that chair and flying home and loosen your tie or whatever, just sit there and just appreciate how hard it is to win. No matter what. All I was asking for was win by 1 tonight. I don't care about style points. I'm not trying to be in the BCS.
Right.
I'm not trying
style points.
I'm not trying to convince us to play Ohio State or Michigan or TCU, anybody in the playoffs. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to win games. However that means happens, that's what you got to do.
And
they did tonight. And coming off that Philadelphia game, that was an emotional roller coaster that we all rode last week. Think about the players, Think about the players on those things. So,
and to Adolfo's point, we'd all love it if it's cruise control and they win by 30, they put up another 50 brisket. We'd love that. It doesn't always happen that way. And look, it was close. they still end up winning by 2 touchdowns. They've still got 12 wins on the season now. This is still back-to-back seasons with 12 wins. And I understand it's not satisfactory because they're not going to an NFC championship game. They're not going to a Super Bowl. I'm as frustrated as anybody else, right? I haven't been able to witness that. I was a little baby the last time they won a Super Bowl. But that wasn't changing tonight. 2 weeks from now,
these teams are different.
If they're one and done in the playoffs, then we will be up here and we'll be roasting the Cowboys and we'll be frustrated with you. But tonight's not that night.
No, you're still you put pressure on Philadelphia to have to make a decision. Their quarterback is feeling it. He practiced today when he's really banged up, and that they're going to.
They got the job done.
They got the job. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You continue to put pressure on Philadelphia to have to win these games. And you know what? I'm all for that right now. I am all for it because this league, you don't know what's going to happen week to week. You really, really don't. And so, like I say, I was just hoping they win by 1 point today, just so the fact that they would keep winning and they keep their hopes alive.
Right.
That's all I'm asking for.
All right, let's go out to line 6. We've got Brady in Burleson. What's going on, Brady?
Not much. First things first, it was ugly, but it's a W nonetheless. Question though, now that the pass rush has seemingly gotten, hopefully we would think, some sort of a groove tonight, be able to, get a couple of sacks, force a fumble, and sometime maybe that going into the playoffs is what we needed to see, which is nice. Also, Donovan Wilson has been playing on a heater for the last better part of 2 months now. And I wonder when people are going to start realizing he's potentially a top 5 safety in this league.
I like the call, Brady. Yeah, Donovan Wilson, 5 sacks this season. He's now tied with Bill Bates for the most sacks in a season by a Cowboys safety since 1982. He's got 8.5 career sacks. That's third all time by a Cowboys safety.
I really liked what they did. Dan Quinn made the adjustment too. He took advantage of a quarterback that probably didn't see very well or wasn't very comfortable with his protection or lack of it at times. But for him to bring Bland a couple of different times on those slot blitzes off the backside with knowing that left tackle for the Titans wasn't very good, I think that, Dan's trying to figure out ways to get Rush home. I think you saw a little bit better tonight than what the ball is. The ball was out quick, but the ball wasn't out as quick as we've seen like the last couple. Last week, when we were interviewing Tank Lawrence, and I mentioned the whole thing about the twist stunts. They can't even get in their twists and the balls are out. So that to me, they got him in some long yardage situations too. I think that helped the pass rush as well. So if they could get him in those situations where it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, that you could sick that pass rush on people.
Yeah, you could see them getting after it. And, to your point in what you're saying, you can just see the adjustments that teams have made against the Cowboys.
They're not going to let you rush.
Yeah. The way that they're getting the ball out quickly. Even tonight with Dobbs, you saw that moving pocket, changing.
We talked about that in the pregame.
Absolutely. I wonder if that's something that you'll see. Now, against, maybe quarterbacks that aren't quite as mobile, they won't be able to do that if you play a Brady in the playoffs.
It's a simple throw. Mobile, when Dak throws the ball, Dak, when the outside the pocket, what does he do? Hits Schultz.
Yeah.
Where he'll throw the ball back inside, he'll find guys open, but it's a simple throw. It's like a 2-level read. You read short and you read long. And if the guy's open, boom, you just throw him the ball. And he threw him the ball underneath to T.Y. Hilton. What ended up being a 20, what was that gain? 24 yards? Something like that out of that play? 28 yards on that play, So, yeah, simple plays but the Cowboys are facing teams that are doing stuff like that. They know they can't. If they get in long yardage situations, they're likely going to get some type of 4-man pressure. And like tonight, they got blitz is what they got. And they got slot blitz, which could be devastating thing to have to deal with.
Phone calls brought to you by Blockchain. You don't need a complicated play to bring it into the end zone. That's why you should trust the team at blockchain.com to make buying, selling, and trading crypto easy. Play smarter, not harder with blockchain.com. We will get back to your phones, 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. So keep calling in, and if you are on hold now, don't worry. We will get to you, and make sure you're texting in as well. We'll hear from Dak Prescott, plus more player audio. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
People will always come and go in our lives, but we all know those few who never left, the ones who make
First down by Lamb. It's a deep crosser.
CeeDee Lamb, another great game as he goes over 100 yards for the third consecutive week. 11 catches, 100 yards on 14 targets for CeeDee Lamb. Cowboys win it 27-13. We'll get back to your phone calls here in just a moment. Trust me, Jake in Stephenville, I see you, buddy. You wait on hold. I'll get to you in just a moment. But right now, it's time to welcome in the voice of your Dallas Cowboys, the great Brad Sham. Brad, mission accomplished. Cowboys get the win, number 12 on the year. But how's the health of this football team? I know you were in the locker room getting to catch up with the fellas. Anything you can share with us?
With Biadasz, which seems to be the worst one, they'll probably have to wait till tomorrow. He wouldn't rule out playing next week. I'm prepared to rule him out for next week. Yeah, they just need him ready for 2 weeks. And I don't know the exact nature of that. There's a bunch of other guys who are going to be sore when they get off the airplane in a few hours, and will be very happy not to have to do anything for a couple of days. But I think other than that, they're pretty much okay. It doesn't mean that, Zach, that you and I wouldn't be crippled by what they've got going on, but for them, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, Brad, these are the prices that you pay coming off a game against the Eagles, and a tough emotional game that you win. And I'm all for the battle-tested teams. I'm for the teams that, like, at the very end are trying their damnedest to win to get into playoffs, because I know those teams, if they get in the playoffs, that any adverse that they have will make them better. That will make them better. And I like the fact that they get to keep fighting to try and win this division.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Brian. I think all of that is true and all of that is positive. Now that being said, there's a little part of me. I mean, you'd love to see it, the Eagles lose to the Saints, and then the game in Washington means something and everything falls right. You wind up winning the division, getting a home game. That'd be lovely. Don't expect the Eagles to lose to the Saints. Could happen. Things happen.
Yeah.
But there's a little part of me that wouldn't mind if the Eagles won so the Cowboys could go ahead and say, all right, you bunch, you're not playing in Washington, because they could use the rest.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, though, this was one of the healthiest teams last year against San Francisco going into the playoffs, wasn't it? Am I right about that?
Yeah. No doubt. And they were an inferior team and played and coached inferior that day. So,
Sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, to me, the teams that are battle-tested are the ones I feel like have better opportunities. That's just me. I understand the rest aspect of it, but, if Philadelphia wins this weekend, then your decision is easy. You get now you get the opportunity to do whatever you want with your roster. But
for me, the proof that you are right is the nature of the nature of the Houston game. The nature of this game, the nature of things. Everybody else thinks are going to be easy, but they're not going to be easy. But you go out and you do your business and you win the game.
Yeah.
And you have to fight. You have to do those things you're talking about to win those games, and that's where I think you're right on the money.
Brad, CeeDee Lamb was great again tonight. 11 catches, 100 yards on 14 targets, and we played his highlight coming back, and there were questions coming into this season. CeeDee Lamb taking over that wide receiver one role. I think you're starting to see it now. He's stacking on great performance week after week, and he's remaining consistent. I don't think you can single cover him anymore. I mean, he's feasting on single coverage. I wonder, from your vantage point, what are you noticing every week, the growth from CeeDee Lamb, but also that connection with Dak Prescott that's really standing out to you as he's taking his game to another level?
I think I read a quote, Zach, of his from just the other day about how much confidence plays a role for players in this game. And, he believed coming into the year that he had the ability and the makeup to be a number one receiver. And then he went out and did not look like it against Tampa. And then he lost his quarterback. And so once Dak got back and the offense started rolling, then I think from, certainly the midpoint of the season, he realized that, yeah, everything's going to be fine. I am the guy. I am him, as the kids like to say.
I am him. Yeah.
And I'm the guy I said I was. And then once he realized that, and the timing with Prescott just kept getting better and more. You play, and so now I think his confidence is over the roof, over the moon. I think he's a really tough, great player, still learning, still getting better, but I think he's clearly one of the elite receivers in the league, and he has grown right before our eyes from someone who certainly looked like he could be a number one guy to being a number one guy.
You know, staying on the receivers, Brad, I think T.Y. Hilton is exactly what I thought he was going to be for this football team. A guy that can make those clutch plays for you, the third downs, you know, tearing little gains or little passes into big gains. I really do want to give these guys a lot of credit. I know they were chasing wide receivers. They might have ended up with the right one with T.Y. Hilton.
100%, and I know for a fact that they were talking about him and to his people back in training camp. There were others that they were talking to and about. You know, Beckham's name was being bandied about. And, you know, they were if we remember 17 years ago in training camp in Oxnard, Brian, when Washington broke his foot,
right there in front of us,
hamstring,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, these guys who were supposed to be filling in, they weren't there. And, you know, we're talking about Dennis Houston, and you and I were doing Dennis Houston stories in the preseason games. And at that time, and you remember, they got pilloried in the media for not signing a veteran guy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that they weren't interested in a veteran guy. They were talking to a number of veteran guys. Hilton was one of them. And what I was told in Oxnard was that the guys who they were talking to were mostly still rehabbing some older injuries, and none of them wanted to come to camp. And so now look what's going on. They've just signed him, and he's going to make a contribution. Josh Norman just signed in Carolina. And I wonder if we're going to see a new era of veteran players who don't play the year, and then they can sign on in December for the playoffs.
Brad, the Dak, I think, starting to get a little bit irritated with the turnover conversation. What is your level of concern when it comes to the interceptions and the Dak turnovers?
I mean, you want him to stop, but I understand that he's tired of hearing about it. I also understand he's tired of throwing them. Now, Babe and I were just, before I got on the phone with you guys, talking about the second one. We didn't really have a great look at it. Didn't look like the best decision he'd made. Also, I think that was after he got his leg rolled a little bit.
Yeah.
The Hendershot one, how's that on Dak? That's a perfect pass.
Yeah.
That's a perfect pass, and he's leading them. They are they're getting rhythm. They're going in. It's going to be 17-0. The game's going to be over. But instead, Hendershot doesn't handle the ball, and it doesn't go down as an interception for Hendershot. It goes down as an interception for Prescott. So tomorrow, everybody picks up the paper and looks at the stats, and the national talk shows say, "Well, he threw 2 more interceptions." Well, he threw 1, but but it's not an excuse. They've got to stop. He knows it, and I just am interested to see. I just think I kind of like how the offense is going, how it's coming together, how it's rolling. I'll be interested to see what their matchup is in the playoff, and I think they've got a chance to have a good offensive first playoff game.
Brad, it's the running game. I just knew watching, and I know you do the all-22 stuff as well, watching Tennessee. I don't care if it's backups or not. I didn't see anybody running the ball on these guys. I really didn't. And I know folks out there like, oh, it's JV and backups and all that. The same guys. I mean, it's not Simmons and guys like that, but I see how well they play run. Mike Vrabel will not let you run the ball. He wants to run the ball on you, and he is not going to let you run the ball on him. That's what 100%. I see with the Tennessee Titans. Yeah, 100%.
There were 2 guys in there. Well, 3, I guess. The one inside linebacker and then Simmons and the outside linebacker Dupree, who's really more of a pass rusher.
Right.
And those were the three but the rest of they had like the best run defense in the league, second best run defense in the league coming in. It's an outlier of a statistic when you look at them. They're really struggling in every other aspect, and in that aspect, it just jumps off the page.
Right.
For this late in the year, how well they've been playing the run, and this game to me was a great example that you have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You just have to keep pounding it and keep doing it, and it sets up the rest of everything else. And the people who will call in the next hour and talk to you guys who didn't know who and still don't know who the front seven of the Tennessee Titans are. They didn't like the way the ball was run, and so obviously the Cowboys aren't doing anything any good. They're not trying. No, Tennessee is good in that department, and they always have been all year long. And you're right, Mike Vrabel is not going to let you do that with ease. And I kind of applauded both the way Tennessee did it and the way the Cowboys hung in there, kept pounding, and had some success. Malik Davis had a couple of nice runs, and they didn't have Pollard. Pollard, who could have played had it been a Sunday game. So that's not a surprise to me. I thought that going in, that looked like part of what the script was going to be.
Brad, appreciate you taking the time, my friend. Have a safe flight home and a Happy New Year, sir.
Yep, Happy New Year to both of you. And Broadus, I owe you an envelope full of pens.
Appreciate that. I'll use every one of them.
I do know that. I'll see you soon.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
guys.
Safe travels. Thank you.
There he goes, the voice of your Dallas Cowboys, the great Brad Sham, with us here on the official postgame show, brought to you by the Salvation Army. Love Beyond. We will get back to the phones. Don't worry, Jake. I will get to you. Jerry, Brandon, Daryl as well. 877-881-1053. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Tom Thumb's new Drive Up and Go service makes grocery shopping easy and convenient for anyone.
UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Out of the I formation, play fake and a bootleg to the left, and Dobbs looks to throw. Now pumps, now hit, and it is Donovan Wilson reading him really well and chasing him down and throwing Dobbs for a loss. Back at the 25, it's a sack for Donovan Wilson.
Boom, there it is, Dono. Sack number 5 of the year for Donovan Wilson as the Cowboys getting back in the sack column here tonight in that 27-13 win over the Titans, improving to 12-4 on the year. Zach Wolchuk alongside Brian Broaddus going to get back out to the phones. We'll also hear from Dak Prescott here momentarily, but let's go out to line 2. Jake in Stephenville. Jake, what's going on, man?
Not much, brother. I heard we're having a celebration. I figured I'd call and join in.
Oh, yeah, it's a celebration. Cowboys got that win 27-13. What's up?
Nothing, man. You know me, I'm a Debbie Downer, but I guess, 20 years of futility will do that to you.
Oh, hey, that's understandable.
Well, you say that, and then I hear Broaddus over there, and a direct quote earlier was, the problem with this team is the fans need to figure out what they want from this team. Actually, Brian, it's pretty easy. We want a championship or even a playoff win. So I don't think it's the fans' fault. We show up to the games. We watch it on TV. I think it might be the organization's fault that's failed us for 20 years. That might be the actual problem, Brian.
I think to me, I come on this station, I come on all the platforms and stuff. As fans, you can't always make up your mind what you want. You could talk about the 27 years of futility and all that, but you folks don't appreciate wins. That's your problem.
Regular season wins mean nothing now.
You know what? You know what? Regular season wins put you in position to get into playoffs. I agree. The thing about it is, though, as a fan base, we go up and down about this team. We want to blame the quarterback for this. We want to blame this guy for that. That's the problem I have, because you talk about every year is different. Okay. Not, you can talk about futility and all that stuff like that, but every year is different in the NFL. Okay. So to me, you win 12, you're trying to find a way to win 13, you're trying to find a way to win the division. So to get into playoffs, and then maybe have a chance to win the Super Bowl. That's all you can ask for right now. But you fans can't even appreciate how this team wins at times. That's what I'm saying to you.
Real quick question, and then I'll get off the phone. Brian, you don't think this is the same as last year when with the game to go?
Every year is different. Every year is different. Every year is different.
It's broken. We said that last year.
Every year is different. Every year is different.
And now this year we're saying the offense is broken again. Going into the playoffs.
Who's saying the offense is broken? Who's saying the offense is broken? This offense is one of the best in the league since Dak's come back.
Yeah, they've been the number one offense.
They've been the number one. See, this is where I don't get about you. You talk about this, and you wonder why I get frustrated with fans. You wonder. Just because of comments like that. You talk about, what does it matter? They don't need a home game. They were 8-1 at home. We don't play well at home anyway. Doesn't matter. Having a home game doesn't matter. You're 8-1 at home. What are you talking about? This team's won 12 games, a chance to win 13, chance to maybe win the division.
Right.
And you're telling me this offense is broken? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
See, this is the frustration I have with you folks. There's some highly educated fans I love to talk with, deal with it every day. But you don't know what you want. You talk about 27 years and this and that. Every year is different. This is a new year. If they go out there and spit the bit in the playoffs, then I'm going to sit here and say, you know what? Maybe they need to make some changes. I think we've been really consistent about that.
Hell yes, absolutely. But I also think that take a step back and appreciate what this team's accomplished. 12 wins in back-to-back years for the first time since the 90s. We went through 8
back-to-back playoffs
8
in 15 years.
Right. First time this team doesn't make the playoffs consecutively, and I understand it, right? Just making the playoffs isn't acceptable when you're the Dallas Cowboys. I get that. I'm not saying, hey, pat on the back, great job, mission accomplished, you just made the playoffs. No, the goal is to win a Super Bowl, but you can't get the championship if you're not in the dance. This team has struggled to just get into the tournament. They're finally starting to do that consistently. So something is now starting to go the right way. And they need to be praised a little bit for that. We're going to crush them and kick them when they deserve that. Tonight, going on the road and getting a hard-fought win by 2 scores, to me, is not one of those times. And I'm sorry if you think I'm being a homer or apology. I don't really give a damn. That's how I feel about it. It's hard to win in the NFL.
I lived it. You know, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to sit here and have people tell me like, oh, this is broken, that's broken, and all that. And in actuality, it's not. There's things that are absolutely wrong with this team.
No, they're far from perfect.
Yeah, far from perfect.
You got issues with your number 2 corner. Now, Deshaun Wright got his first career interception tonight. Did he get beat several times? Absolutely. Are there areas where they need to improve? We got questions on the offensive line. How's the health of your center? No doubt. The turnover situation defensively, the pass rush on a consistent basis. The saving grace, though, you're still leading the league. You're going to lead the league for back-to-back years turnovers. How often was it you couldn't pay for turnovers with the Cowboys? Under Dan Quinn, this is back-to-back years the Cowboys are going to lead the league defensively with turnovers forced. That's quite an accomplishment. Quite an accomplishment. All right, let's go out to line 2. We got KB in Richardson. KB, you're on the Cowboys postgame show.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good.
First of all, I want to say, man, appreciate the show tonight and the Cowboy week.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan Brothers, I know you probably ain't going to remember. Years ago, I used to work for the North Texas Food Bank, and I asked you, who do we keep, Dez Bryant or DeMarco Murray?
Yeah.
And you said DeMarco Murray, he had to go.
Yeah.
And you were right. So I know you know what you're talking about when it comes to football.
Thank you.
But one thing that I had tonight and the whole season is this: why do the Dallas Cowboys run the ball on first down every single game?
Well, they're trying to get ahead of the chains is what they're trying to do. You know, and tonight was, you know, when you're talking about the Tennessee Titans, it was not going to be easy running the football. It just wasn't. But this team has found a way to make it manageable down and distance situations. It's one of the best teams in the league. What were they on third down today, by the way?
On third down, the Cowboys were 8 of 13.
There you go. What is that percentage right there? Give me the math on that real quick.
Oh, geez. You know that I'm terrible at this.
Well, I've got the stats, too.
I'll figure it out for you.
But I'm just saying, this team it's 62%.
62%.
62%.
Hey, Brian, guess what? It's 62%.
They couldn't run the
actually
ball.
61.5.
They couldn't run the ball the length of you-know-what.
No, I mean, literally.
And they couldn't.
Ezekiel Elliott averaged 1.9 yards per carry.
You couldn't run the ball the length of their you-know-whats. And they, on third down tonight, they were 62%. You know, he's trying to stay ahead of the chains. You know, he's trying to run the full. Hey, I applaud him for doing that. I don't want Dak to throw the ball like he did today, 48 times or whatever he threw the ball today. I'm not interested in doing that. I running the football and trying to make that work. I don't have a problem with that. But you're converting right now 62% this game. Since Dak has been back, I think the number is like 56%.
Yeah, they've been
which is leading the league.
Absolutely sensational.
So when we talk about this lack of a running game, it's not killing you in third down conversions. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think the OC's trying to do his best to keep Dak from having to throw the ball 50 times a game.
Yeah, tonight was one of those where you needed to throw the football, and credit Noah Brown, and they were able to draw some penalties. Dak was able to throw. Michael Gallup drew that big pass interference penalty. The Cowboys drew some big time penalties on third downs that were able to allow them to extend the drive. Dak finally got a roughing the passer penalty for the first time, I think, since 2018. My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That was absolutely shocking. Okay, let's go out to Ezra in Midlothian. This will be line 5. Ezra, you're on the official postgame show of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for having me on. Brian, I just wanted to say I think what most Cowboys fans want, obviously, is a Super Bowl.
Sure,
but what
we
they
all
really
do.
want is bragging rights.
Okay.
They don't understand how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. And because of all the hot takes nationally and how popular the Cowboys are, really what they want is bragging rights, and that's what leads them to not be able to understand how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. It's a show me what you've done recently league, but I mean, Green Bay, San Francisco, all these other teams that people are saying are better. When was the last time they won a Super Bowl? How many Super Bowls have they won in the last 20 years? So really all they're wanting is bragging rights more than anything else, and that's what leads them to being so upset with the Cowboys.
I tell you what I want. I just want this from fans. If you're going to have a take about this team, really think about what you're saying. Think about it. If you want to rip on the quarterback, if you want to rip on turnovers, if you want to rip on anything you want, just think this thing through. When you're really sitting down and, don't just loosely throw something up against the wall and say, oh, well, hey, the offense is this, and oh, they can't do this, and they can't do that. Think about what you're saying. That's all I'm asking. And bragging rights, great. Yeah. I mean, hell, I grew up in this town. I want them to win a Super Bowl too. It's great for our station when we win the Super Bowl. That's great for us. It's great when they're winning games. We all want that. It's not as easy as everybody's making it sound like it is. It's not. And I've been there. They handed me that damn trophy. 1996. I was there a long time ago. It's not easy. But all I ask from the fans is just think about what you're arguing about.
Yeah. No question. All right, let's go out to, we've got our guy, Jerry, in New Mexico, line 1. Jerry, how you doing, sir?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Brian, you just keep preaching because you are absolutely right. I agree with you 100%, with the exception of Terrence Steele. I think you were wrong about him. But with all of
I've
that
been wrong a lot more than Terrence Steele. But you know what? I'm willing to admit this in this market. That's why I'm trying to educate folks. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong when other people who call in won't.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And what we need to do is sit back and look, man. We are 12-4. We're playing a first-place schedule. That's something Garrett could never do.
That's a great point, Jerry.
He could win with the third-place schedule, and then the next year he'd go 4-12 or 8-8. Mike McCarthy has come in here and done a hell of a job, and he has built a program. Him and Will McClay and Stephen Jones, and we gripe about they don't spend money in free agency and all this stuff, but they draft, they develop players, they build this the old-fashioned way. This is a good football team, and it's a good football team last year. It's a better football team this year. I have nothing to complain about, man. If you would have told me 12-4 on opening night, when we lose our starting tackle before the season, we lose our starting quarterback for 6 weeks, and we're sitting here at 12-4 with a chance for a number 1 seed, what are y'all complaining? What are the fans complaining about? This is good stuff, man. We need to enjoy this.
Absolutely, Jerry. Love the call. Thank you so much for that. And you're right. We would have all signed up and taken this. Dak Prescott going to be out for how long? 5 weeks? 6 weeks?
5 weeks.
And you go 4-1 with Cooper Rush? Absolutely. Cowboys get the win, 27-13 over the Titans. We're going to hear from your quarterback, Dak Prescott, as he spoke with the media. Plus, we'll get more of your calls and texts. Calls brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott and more from you. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
People take their chili seriously. At Whataburger, we also put chili on a pedestal made of 100% fresh beef. The new Whataburger chili.
Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. Jigsaw Dating, proud dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller time.
Here comes 2nd down, 7. Prescott back, looking left. Throwing it in the back of the end zone for Schultz. What a grab! Did he get it? Touchdown, Dalton Schultz! Oh, what a grab by Dalton Schultz, his 2nd touchdown of the night.
Boom, baby. Our drive of the game brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. What a drive it was.
What a throw.
It was beautiful throw and a great catch.
Yeah.
Go up and high point that football as Dak connected with Dalton Schultz. It was a 10-play, 75-yard drive. Took 5 minutes and 6 seconds off the clock. Dalton Schultz, 2 touchdown receptions tonight and has 4 multi-touchdown games in his career. He's got the 3rd most multi-touchdown games by a tight end in team history, trailing only Jason Witten.
Of course he is.
And Billy Joe Dupree.
I've seen him play. He's pretty good.
Each had 5.
Billy Joe's pretty good.
Who was better between the two?
Oh, what?
Witten and Billy Joe Dupree.
Witten was
better.
Yeah, Witten was.
We'll give that nod to Witten.
Yeah, we'll give him up that.
Also, how about this for Dak? With that touchdown pass to Dalton Schultz, Dak Prescott tied Troy Aikman for the 2nd most passing touchdowns in franchise history.
There you go.
With $165.
Not bad for a 4th-round guy.
Climbing up that ladder, and speaking of Dak, and I see we got a lot of you on hold. We will get to you. I love you. Thank you so much for the interaction. 877-881-1053. We will get to your calls and your texts, but let's hear from the quarterback of America's team, Dak Prescott.
DallasCowboys.com. Talk about the resiliency to overcome the interception off of Peyton Hendershot's hands and then the interception you threw later in the game, but to be able to rally and continue to push forward.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to play this position, you've got to have a short-term memory. Whether the interception you feel is your fault, not your fault, whether you throw it to the guy and lose out on points before half or not, you got to be able to turn the page and just move on. I mean, that's something that, honestly, I mean, I take pride in. Obviously, you're not trying to have that adversity or cause that adversity, but good or bad, I'm on to the next play, and that's just I think that's an example of it there, and just not only me, but the whole team. And defense, obviously, stepping up, making plays when those unfortunate things happen, and then the offense, everybody, all 11, getting on and just saying, let's get back on the horse and get rolling.
You did move on. You did have 2 touchdowns in the second half, but how frustrating is it, though, just in the moment, for these things to continue to happen?
Go ahead.
I mean, I know you moved on and you had a mentality, but just in the moment, it has to be frustrating.
I mean, yeah, it's frustrating, but there's nothing I can do about it the same sense. So, I mean, yeah, it might be frustrating, but by the time that I'd say a minute after I've sat down on the sideline, I've got it out of my head. I've said my words I needed to say to myself and just moved on at that point. So, yeah, it is frustrating, as I said. Whether it's off your guy's hands or whether I throw it behind the receiver and he makes the play and the cornerback makes the play, they're all frustrating, and somehow or another they've got to stop.
Yeah, do you worry about this rash or whatever you want to call it?
No, I mean I don't worry about that. No, I don't worry about that. I don't sit there and think of that. Oh, this is going to continue to happen. As much as anything, I've got to fix the ones on my end, and I've just got to make sure that the guys on the receivers and everybody that may take part in them are just focused and understand that we don't got a lot of opportunities. And as we move forward, this last game and all these playoff games, every drive matters, and we have to play every play, every drive like it's to win the game, and that's the reality of it when you get into the postseason. So it's just heightening our focus and understanding, for me, the risk versus reward, whether it's a tight window or not, and just as everybody's been on the same page, understanding the magnitude of each play.
What gives you confidence that this unit can improve that consistency over these next few weeks if it goes that far? I mean, what is it about this unit?
It will go that far. And I mean, just if you've been watching us, we've won these games. Yeah, I'm sure. Other than the overtime, unfortunate interception return, we're getting better. And even when these bad plays happen, we're able to move on. So I mean, I have no hesitation, no doubt in the men that we have in this locker room. If you've heard me speak, that's what I credit this team, and I give all the compliments of the brotherhood and the culture and what we've built here on. So
is it a bit perplexing? You guys are 12-4,
And there are a lot of questions, and sometimes it might sound like it's the opposite record.
No, not at all. I mean, those are your questions. Those are your thoughts. That's all external and outside of our locker room. And that's why I compliment the brotherhood and the culture and everything that we've created. And, I mean, all that talk, that's for y'all, and we're going to let y'all talk. What we've got is a culture and a brotherhood that knows what they have, what we have, what we're capable of doing. We're going to double down on that and trust the process and continue to get better each day at practice, each week, and understand, as I said, the magnitude that's coming up, that we've got to just focus in on every detail of our preparation and make sure that it's carrying over to these games.
Calvin, why do you think you and T.Y. have such a good chemistry?
I mean, that's credit to T.Y., to be honest. He's a quarterback-friendly receiver. He's played a lot of football. He's a veteran. His body language speaks for itself. You know where he's going. And that's all credit to him. Just being able to come in a couple of weeks ago and just make the impact that he's made, make big time catches, show up on third down, just time and time again when his number called, make those plays. But if you go back and you look at this guy's resume and history in his career, there's no surprise in what he's doing.
Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott certainly frustrated with the turnovers, but in game, nothing he can do. He's just got to work to get better, move on to the next play. And it is interesting, the question of, you're 12-4, but some of these questions and the perception and concern about the football team, it's as if they had the opposite record. And Dak's response is just like, well, I mean, that's you guys.
Yeah.
Right? That's not how we're feeling inside that locker room, which feels like it's been much of the conversation we've been having here tonight as well.
Happy plane flight home. I've been on those, It's like I say, it's hard to win. The thing that bothered me the most about Dak was the fumbled snap. Because that's the most basic of the plays, or the most basic of the operations. The ball off Hendershot, that's going to happen. They've had several plays this year where balls have clanged off receivers or tight ends, whoever, backs. That's a problem. Dak's thrown interceptions like we saw today. Ball was behind, Schultz, he's trying to fit it in a spot, and he just wasn't accurate. He got up on that left leg and tried to drive that in there, and the ball wasn't as accurate as it needed to be. The one that bothers me the most is the fumbled snap.
Yeah.
That's the elementary part of football right there. Huddle, cadence, snap. Those are the things you have to be able to execute, and that part of it, that's a cheap turnover right there.
Agreed, 100%, and one that I'm sure that, now we'll see moving forward with the concern of Tyler Biotish. Early reports are high ankle sprain. Connor McGovern took the reps at center tonight. What will happen moving forward? Will it be McGovern? The Cowboys reshuffled the entire offensive line with Jason Peters playing left tackle and Tyler Smith kicking into guard, so we'll have to see moving forward what the plan is there. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves across the Dallas Cowboys radio network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Zach Wolchuk, Brian Broaddus with you here on the Cowboys postgame show after a 27-13 Cowboys win over the Titans, improving to 12-4 on the year. Let's get back to the phones. Let's head out to line 9. We've got Daniel, who's been waiting patiently in Fort Worth. Daniel, how's it going?
Good. Hey guys, I'm appreciative. I've been listening to everything that's going on, and we're right on track.
I appreciate it, Daniel. Cowboys are right on track.
On track of the conversation we're having tonight, or the track of the Cowboys?
On track of the conversation we're having tonight, because you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, man, people don't realize that all these fans they want instant gratification, and
Sure.
they don't realize that there's 1 million athletes in high school, and out of the 1 million athletes in high school, 6.5% make it to the college, 1.2 make it to the NFL, and when you get there, it's like going through a funnel. And I've been there. I'm talking from a class of in the 80s, and then I have my son and my grandson. And I talk about this all the time because, you know what, Luka, right after the Cowboys beat the hell out of them Philadelphia Eagles, because Cooper Rush almost did it himself.
Yeah,
but people don't realize that.
Yeah.
No,
tough.
I appreciate the call, Daniel. No,
man.
you're right. It is. It's hard. And that's what we keep on saying. Hard to win in the NFL. And to the point about the Cowboys offense and Dak, since he's returned to the lineup, Cowboys offense averaging 35 points per game, which is the most in the NFL since he's gotten back in the lineup. That includes tonight's 27-point game. And has it always been, are there things to nitpick? Are there areas to improve? 100%. But offensively, and you made this comment a couple weeks ago with the injuries that the defense is having, time for the offense to try and carry things a little bit. And, they're doing their part to an extent. No question about that.
Yeah, it's going to be that way. I mean, they're still trying to figure out with what's going on at corner with Wright. I like how he competes. They went after him tonight a little bit, and other teams are going to go after him too. But every snap he's out there, the interception, great job of him being in position, coming down with the ball, getting the feet in bounce. A lot of these guys, when you play defense, it's about confidence. It's about physicality. It's about confidence. You get guys like Bland, blitzing off the slot, getting home. Guys like Wilson. I mean, let's be honest. Wilson wasn't a starter when this thing kicked off, and now you look at what he's able to do on a weekly basis. Tank. People talk about, well, Tank's not doing this and Tank's doing that. I hope you watch Tank play tonight, because Tank probably should be your player of the game. The way he played, Tank set the tone early. He's all over the place. He is. Knocking the ball out of the guy's hand in the pocket, tackling, hustling. That's you want to bust on him about stuff. That guy right there. That's the kind of play you need, and he gives you that. That's what that guy gives you. So hey,
playing on two bad feet, by the way.
There's some things they clearly have to work on, but when you're 12-4, it's a little bit easier to work on them than when you're 4-12.
Sure is. See a lot of you still waiting patiently. We will get to you. We got your what a play of the game coming up as well. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
Whether you're getting ready to purchase a home, setting up a college fund for your
.org.
And the snap back, they stunt, they blitz. Prescott comes up out of it, throws underneath to the 30. Hilton with a stiff arm runs for a first down, and still going down the right sideline to the 50.
That is our What a Play of the game. The Whataburger Breakfast Burger is back. A fresh 100% beef patty, melted cheese, hash brown sticks, fresh cracked egg, bacon, and creamy pepper sauce. Available from 11 to 11 for a limited time. That third down play to T.Y. Hilton was huge on what also was our drive of the game. Dak to T.Y. 3 for 3 on third downs as T.Y. Hilton continues to have an immediate impact to this football team. 4 catches for 50 yards on 5 targets. And, we'll see what ends up happening next week. I think there's a lot to be determined based on what happens with the Eagles game.
Yeah.
I know Mike McCarthy was saying, look, we got a lot to play for, and we want to play our guys. And I do think regardless, maybe guys that are actually hurt, you won't see them suit up. But I do think much like you saw last year against the Eagles in the finale, I don't think you're going to see people not play at all. Regardless next week, but I think you're going to see a heavy dose of T.Y. Hilton come playoff time for this Cowboys team because he's been really darn good.
The question was asked to him about the connection he has with Dak already, and it just goes to show you why the Cowboys were interested in adding a player like that. Adding a player that a pro, and I consider Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham's a weapon. Healthy. You saw what Odell Beckham could do in the Super Bowl. You saw what he could do for the Rams. You saw that. They won a championship with him playing. But so this is why they were hunting a receiver. They were hunting a guy that could go make plays. I mean, this guy's like the limited number of plays. How many first downs has this guy got, whether through catching or penalties? How many plays? I mean, that's what this
5 or 6 in 2 games.
Exactly. And he doesn't get a whole hell of a lot of snaps.
No.
So, but that's what the kind of guy you're going to need going forward because these games are going to get tough. You're probably not going to be able to run the ball great. You're going to probably need to convert a lot of third downs, which this team absolutely does. They do this that has got to be a nightmare for defensive coordinators to have to think about, well, wait a minute. They've got these backs that can catch. They got wide receivers that can catch. They got the tight end that can catch. There's a lot of ways that you could attack people with the personnel the Cowboys have right now.
Tell you another thing that's been a pleasant surprise in recent weeks. Cowboys are improving in the penalty department.
Ever since I said that the penalties things will not change, I willed it. I said, hey, listen, don't worry about it. Nothing's going to change. Because my thought all the time has been about officials are going to call what they want to call. No matter what we learned it the other night in the game against the with the Commanders and the Giants.
The Giants, sure.
You line up off sides.
That Terry McLaurin play.
You line up off sides, what happens? They call a penalty, but you're not off sides. But they think you're moving.
I checked with the official, didn't I?
Yeah. They're going to call, or look at the pass interference penalties tonight. There was probably a couple. They get that Terry McCauley, the official. They get him on there, and he's like, "Oh, that looks like pass interference to me, Kurt."
So annoying. I thought Deshaun Wright played that perfectly. He turns around, he locates the ball in the air.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got just as much a right to that football as the receiver does at that point.
But fortunately, you get a roughing the passer penalty. You later in the game, you blitz, you get somebody home, you knock Josh Dobbs down. That could have been called. These officials are going to call penalties however they want to call them, and that's you're at the mercy of them. You really, really are at the mercy. So maybe I need to will into existence Dak and don't throw any more picks.
Yeah.
Maybe I say, just get used to it. It's never going to change.
Just get used to it. Dak's going to be throwing picks, and now all of a sudden it's fixed. That's what we need, Brian. Reverse psychology. I've tried to do it several times this year. You know that.
Yeah.
3 penalties, 35 yards for the Cowboys compared to 10 for 124 for the Titans. That was definitely a big storyline.
Absolutely.
In tonight's game. All right, let's go back out to the phones. Let's hit line 6. Let's go line 6. Brandon in New Jersey has been waiting patiently. Brandon, what's going on? You're on with Zach Wolchuk and Brian Broaddus.
Hey, guys, appreciate it. Maybe it's because I'm 26 years old and I haven't been around for the quote-unquote misery as long as other people have, but I love this football team. I think that what I want as a fan is to see the team win, and that's exactly what they're doing. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's December football. You need to win these games. And the Titans, they were the number 1 seed for a reason last season, and they might have missed a lot of key guys tonight, but you still have the skeleton and the shape and mold of what Mike Vrabel wants from this defense and his team. So the Cowboys went on pretty much like 2 days worth of jog through practice, went into Nashville, played outdoors, and ended up winning the game. And, fans wanted to see the defense step up with pressure. They did that. You want to see CeeDee Lamb step up as wide receiver number one. He's consistent. He's averaging, I think, over about 400 yards, 3 touchdowns in previous 5 games, the 5 games before that. And Dak has established this now third down connection with T.Y. Hilton, which you're getting this guy at the right time, and you still have another week to kind of work on it depending on what happens this weekend. So, and with Dak, yeah, sure, the interceptions stink, but guess what? He's also the guy that gets you the 3rd and 30 with a beautiful pass to T.Y. Hilton. So I'm really happy with this team right now, and there's really, there's things to clean up, but what team right now in the NFL doesn't have things to clean up?
Love it, Brandon.
Well said.
Yep, absolutely. And checked a lot of good boxes there on that call, Brandon from New Jersey. Let's go out to line 1. We've got Memo calling from Oak Cliff. Memo, what's going on, man? You still pumped about your Sock Golden Bears winning the state championship?
Oh, I'm always, man. First title in the AISD since 1950, so it's amazing. But, hey, man, first-time caller, long-time listener. I appreciate you guys giving us the info that you guys give us. And, Brian, I understand the fans they're frustrated. I was frustrated at the beginning of the season, but as fans, we got to understand that, this is fluent. Things change. I was frustrated with the draft pick, but look at it. It's working out great.
Yep.
When that went down, I was like, man, I was done with this team.
Yep.
But you're not really done with the team because you love them. And look how they turned it around. They managed it. McCarthy,
you were done with him too.
Garrett never did this.
You were done with him too.
And I'm sorry. English is my second language, so I'm sorry.
No, you're doing great, man. No, all good. You're doing great, brother. You're doing great.
But it's amazing that we're in the position that we are.
Sure.
We haven't been like this, 12 wins back to back since the 90s.
Yep.
And that's about the 90s. And what else do we want as fans? Obviously, we won a Super Bowl. We all won a Super Bowl.
Sure.
The 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since when? So we always want to put these teams against the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys. But, let's appreciate the ride. Let's give the credit to the front office because they put the players in positions to win.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, Memo. Thank you very much. And we'll see what happens in the playoffs when you get there.
Yeah,
but you got to put yourself in the position to be in the postseason, and that's what this team's accomplished.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And if they flame out and go down and they don't get they don't win the division and they have to go play against somebody in the NFC South and they go out and lose that game, then this season we'll put a bow on it. We will analyze everything about it, what happened, what went right, what went wrong, what was something they didn't correct. But, like I say, I'll take my chances right now with one of the best defensive players in the league, and I know he's banged up to heck. And I'll take my chances on an offense right now that even when they don't run the ball well, they find ways to convert third downs and they get down the red zone and they score points. I'll take my chances in the playoffs with that team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good. There is a bad, though, on this team that I don't think should be on this roster anymore.
You don't like Kelvin Joseph at all?
I think that it's time to make a change here.
Yeah.
And I've kind of waited and I've bit my tongue on this, and I've seen enough tonight.
Sure.
You had 2 special teams penalties. I don't think this guy's getting it. You no longer can play him on defense. He's a liability. You gave him an opportunity. He squandered it. You had to bench him. So you can't play him at corner. You can't play him on defense. Now I don't know if I can play him on special teams because he's going out there and he had 2 special teams penalties tonight.
Yeah.
So what good are you on the football team?
Well, it's the second fair catch interference penalty he's had this year, and that's inexcusable. You got to have better awareness there. And that's a Dan Quinn player. Him, Will McClay, Mike McCarthy, they all went to Lexington, Kentucky, worked him out. He had a terrible offseason. People were thinking, well, maybe we should move on from him there. The front office didn't think that. But, you know, the one thing that we've seen from this Dallas Cowboys coaching staff is if somebody is not playing well, they will remove them in midstream. In mid-game is what they'll do. They'll remove them. So, you know, we'll see with Bones Fossil. Do they find somebody better that can play on the outside? Do they find somebody, you know, they're really kind of banged up right now at corner, so they kind of need him to be active.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like you're scared. Okay, when he's on the field, you're terrified.
Well, then, you need to figure out about, you know, the guys who they had, Mullen and those guys. Yeah, they need to look at the practice squad guys and determine, like, who is practicing the best out of that group right there in order to maybe take his spot.
Absolutely. And we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward with that situation. But, man, tonight I was just thinking, goodness, I don't know where you can even play him anymore. I mean, this has just gotten from bad to worse with an individual who we had high hopes for that you took in the second round. And I'm starting to think, you know, less and less optimistically.
Well, that's the thing about it is you've got a guy like Bland who you took in the 5th who is, you know, making up for any. It would be nice if they both were playing really, really well for you. But like I say, one of them is not.
No.
And so, you know, these coaches will figure it out.
And
I do
with
believe
Deshaun Wright, you know, he got beat tonight at times, but then he comes back and gets his first career interception. When you mentioned the compete, you know, Deshaun Wright's got that short-term memory you need at the corner position. He'll get beat, but he'll battle back and make a play. He did it last week against Philadelphia as well, that final drive.
Oh, no.
Able to break up a pass.
No, you're absolutely right. And the one thing, and you noticed that there was a couple of times where he was nicked up tackling, you know. That's something you probably are not going to see from your others. You know, with that, you know, that they've gotten better with those corners, especially with the perimeter runs, with the ball coming to the outside. Now they botched that screen up pretty good. They needed to get bodies quicker to the ball there when Chestnut got it, and I think he went 30 yards on that play. They need to play that play much better than they did.
All right, we will get back to the phones. We got Daryl, Sam, Derek. I see you. Don't worry about it. I appreciate your patience. We've had a lot of callers tonight. So we will get to you coming back on the other side, I promise. More of your calls, and we got CeeDee Lamb for you as well. You're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, you know why we're here.
to his right, throws on the run, intercepted. Deshaun Wright on the right sideline at the 40-yard line.
That is our defensive stand of the game, brought to you by Reliant, an NRG company. How about that for Deshaun Wright? His first career interception as he's getting some more playing time after the injuries that the Cowboys have had with Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis. And then, of course, you have Kelvin Joseph, who we just talked about, that has not been playing good football.
Somebody on Twitter asked me what Deshaun Wright needs to work on. I think it's really about experience. I think it's about feeling comfortable in the scheme that, okay, this is where I'm going to have help, or this is how I need to play with leverage on the outside. This is how I need to funnel guys inside. I think with him, it's great he had that interception, but I think positioning is something that he just needs to grow a little bit more comfortable with, of where he needs to be in certain spots of the scheme. And that's just going to come from repetition, I believe.
Well, we're going to go back out to the phones here in just a moment, but speaking of Deshaun Wright, afterwards, he caught up with the media.
Since you're the man of the hour, obviously, can you tell us about
just made a play when it came our way. We preach that all the time. Just when they make it count, you got to make it count. So that was all. That was it. He just threw it. I went up and grabbed it.
How big of a surprise was it to the defense to be going against a different quarterback after you had presumably been preparing for Malik Willis?
We talked about it all week. We talked about all possibilities. So having him out there, we knew what type of game it was going to be. So we were prepared for it.
Surprising this game, as close as it was. In some senses, you guys could take care of business earlier.
Tennessee's a tough team, so no game is easy in the NFL. So we just have to go out there and make more plays than they made.
Can you talk about the importance of this sudden change defense when there were 3 giveaways by the Cowboys in the first half?
Can you repeat that?
The 3 turnovers by the Cowboys in the first half, and you guys had to come out there and answer with the sudden change defense and the importance of that after the giveaways to come out and stop the Tigers.
A bend or break mentality. Just got to go out there and, again, make plays.
Obviously, the division title race is in your control, but to put some pressure on Philly, they have to win or else it gets real interesting. Does that mean something to you guys?
Definitely. We know that we have to prepare for Washington next week, and that's all that we're worried about, just going out there and going to beat them.
Does that feel any more real, though? Like maybe this might actually be possible?
Every game feels real. This one was real. We knew we had to come here and execute, and then so now we have to prepare for next week and execute as well.
Can you walk us through the interception? Sorry if you're ready to ask.
I don't even. It was a. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say all this, but it was his own coverage. Was able to get my eyes back to the quarterback. Originally thought he was going to scramble. He just threw it up in my area, and I just went up and grabbed it.
What was that feeling like to get that first one for your career?
Oh, it felt good.
A big moment too.
Definitely. It always feels good to get a pick, make plays when they count. So yeah, getting that pick felt great. My first one, so it definitely feels good.
I don't know if you looked around the stadium afterward, but a lot of the fans went home after that.
For real?
Yeah.
I know. I'm still locked in.
Yeah. You were in the satellite medical tent a couple times.
Yeah.
With a stinger.
Yeah, 2 stingers, but that was it.
Good that it was just stingers, and I love the fact that he wasn't sure if he should share what the coverage was on the interception.
Yeah.
That's a young kid.
That is a young kid.
Should I share? Should I not share?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. All right, let's get back out to the phones. We got Daryl, who's been waiting patiently in California, line 8. Daryl, what's going on, man? You're on with the Cowboys postgame show.
Hey, I'm a P1, Zach. You're doing a great job. Broadus, I've been rocking with you for almost a decade, man, and I'm going to give you the best compliment you can hear tonight. You are in the Hall of Fame for what you do. I don't always agree, but, brother, you break it down. Let me just give this to you because I listen every week and I've been trying to call. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you guys, I'm emotional. I respect Dak Prescott. One of my sports regrets was that Romo didn't get to hand the ball off to Ezekiel Elliott in a game that counted. And I won't compare Dak and Romo. But what I will do is tell you guys that Dak is regressing. There is no way, guys, you can tell me numbers don't lie. I respect what the offense is doing, but every time we have the kill shot, just like Philly last week, when Minshew should have never had the ball and Cowboy fans stressing to lose the game because we got 2 turnovers and the offense did nothing with it. So quit saying, both of you who I respect, that this offense is scoring 30, 35 points a game because you know deep down it ain't real.
What's not real?
Parade for making the playoffs.
What's not real? What's not real? What's not real about this offense?
That it's potent, and that it can take us to the promised land, Brian.
It wins. It wins.
Real quick, Brian. This is for you. This is why I call B. I'm gonna call you B. Don't no disrespect. Dak Prescott has played 5 less games than anybody else. It has the most interceptions in the league. Derek Carr got benched, and you guys want to just prance around like he's doing a fine job. He's not doing a fine job.
He's doing it.
Brian, that's what we need to talk about.
He is doing a fine job. You're winning football games. You're 12-4 with him. And again, I'm saying he's not perfect. I thought the ball that he threw to Schultz, I think there's some balls he's thrown this year that absolutely that his fault.
Yeah.
But you're sitting there telling me that like he is the reason why that this team doesn't have a chance. Come on, man.
Well, I love the passion.
I wish you'd have called in after the Houston Texans game when the game was going poorly for everybody on offense all day, and the guy all of a sudden gets cover 2, who they've been playing cover 2 against them all day.
Yeah.
It's like he's just tick, tick, tick down the field, and they go win the ball game.
Well, so I'm trying to – I want to absorb and take in what Daryl's saying because I love the passion, and I get where he's coming from here. In terms of the interceptions and the turnovers are a concern. The problem is the number of them are not all Dak's fault, right? That's the issue here.
Interceptions, they're turnovers. But to say that, and I feel like that he kind of gave himself away because he said Tony Romo never had the opportunity to hand the ball to Ezekiel Elliott. All right, I get it. You're a Romo fan? Sure, I get it. But this quarterback, I tell you what, for him to go – the way the grittiness and the toughness and all that he plays with on a weekly basis, he's doing everything. I mean, the interceptions that he has, it's because his will to try and win and not give up on a play. The fact that he got his knee wrenched and he's standing in there trying to make throws still or running the football.
Ran for a first down right afterwards.
First down? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 12-5. There are teams. If we were sitting here in New York and you came on air and started telling me about that quarterback up there, that the Jets, and he's no good, and that I'm with you. I'm with you. But this guy, they don't run the ball and they convert third downs, and it's make believe.
No, it's not make believe,
man.
It's
seriously.
You can't.
I appreciate your passion too,
yeah,
but you're
too.
not. You know what?
When the P1 thing, that's a different station. We got to talk about that, Daryl.
Yeah.
We got to get you to be a Tolo.
Yeah,
all right, we
exactly.
got to get you on that as well. But I will say this: we're telling you these stats because they're true. I mean, it's proven. The 35 points per game, it's just factual. We're not trying to just blow smoke up your rear.
Yeah,
it's just that's the bottom line. The third down percentage, best in the NFL since Dak's come back. That's factual. Are there flaws? Are there areas of improvement?
Well, he was
100%.
He was talking about game management issues too last week in the game. I think we've been really clear about that. There's been a couple of games where the Jacksonville game management wasn't great. Is that on Dak? No. I mean,
and I'm with Daryl. I would like to see some of these, and like last week, instead of settling for field goals, go score a touchdown. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. 100%. Put that ball in the end zone.
Is that on the play caller though too?
I think so.
Okay. See, that's to me. I mean,
we lump a lot of things on the quarterback,
we do,
where it's not
things.
always just on that one individual. This is the ultimate team sport for a reason.
Yeah, we say that, but I mean, to me, this is like the reason why you guys even have a chance. Why this team even has a chance is the way this guy plays. He's like willing, like they got one wide receiver. They had to go out and get another wide receiver. Do you think he trusts anybody he's throwing the ball to right now? Noah Brown, those guys. I mean, Noah Brown, those guys making some plays for him throughout. But like tonight, couple of drops. Gallup, we're all kind of wondering where Gallup is. You know, it's been him.
Like that interception.
It's been him and CeeDee Lamb.
It's going to count as a Dak Prescott interception. I don't know what you want him to do when he throws the ball to Hendershot, and Hendershot catches it about 3 different times. Then it ends up going, and Kevin Byard ends up with it. That's going to end up as a Dak Prescott interception.
Yeah. We need to get these other callers. I'm sorry.
All right, let's go to line 2. We got Sam in Arlington. Sam, what's going on, my friend?
Good morning, sir. One comment, one question, if you don't mind, then I'll hang up and listen. I think personally we should give Dak Prescott the Good Sportsmanship Player of the Year award because this guy, every game, goes out there, he throws the other team an interception, he gives them hope, he gives them a little confidence, and then he catches Sergeant Schultz in the end zone for a touchdown. He takes it all away. He sticks a dagger in their heart. And the only numbers that matter to me is W's and L's, not interceptions.
Thank you, Sam. And he does have a lot of W's. That's for darn sure.
He's got a lot of interceptions, though, too.
He's got a lot of W's.
Well, he's got a lot of interceptions assigned to his name.
Yeah, there you go.
And they know, and the coaching staff knows routes and where it needs to be and stuff like that. So, you know. But that's, he's got W's, he's got interceptions, no question.
All right, let's go out to Derek in Brooklyn. Derek, what's going on, my friend?
Guys. Brian, I just want to say, man, you got a big fan in Brooklyn, man. I love hearing you. You're the only reason I listen to G-Bag Nation. I started listening when you got on, man. I really appreciate you. You know, I don't know where these Cowboy fans became so entitled because it took Jason Garrett 10 years to win 12 games twice.
Yeah.
And Mike McCarthy just did it in 2 years.
You're absolutely right.
And the last time you played this team, you played them at home, and they beat you by 2 touchdowns because Jason Garrett was your coach.
You're right
I don't understand it. I don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, Derek. And with those other guys on G-Bag, I got to tell you, those guys suck.
Other guys on G-Bag are not bad either. But no, I mean, to me, there's faults of these teams, but yeah, if I tend to point out what I see and try and be fair about it. That's all I can do.
That's all you can do is be fair. All right, we got Tony in Atlanta. Tony, what's going on, homie?
Tony, how you doing?
Tony, what's up, man?
Guys, I'm good. Good to visit with y'all. Hey,
thank you.
Hey, look, man, just glad to get the W. Regardless of style points. I mean, the interceptions are a little bothersome, but as Stephen Jones
they're a lot
said,
bothersome. The interceptions aren't good. Yeah.
Oh, they're not. They're not good. But at no point tonight, even in spite of the interceptions, that I feel like we were threatened to lose this game. I just didn't.
Yeah, I agree.
I just felt like we had this one pretty much. We just had to handle our business. But at any rate, just glad to get the win. It's a win. It's not talked about a lot, but we got to win on grass. We've lost some games on grass, and when we get in the tournament, we're going to have to play some games on grass, outdoors, So I think that's something, that can't be ignored. And I'm just really ready to get to the tournament and just see what happens, But speaking of the tournament, I just want to get y'all's thought on something. I'm kind of alone on an island, it seems like, on this thought of rooting for Green Bay to get in the tournament, and just kind of hear me out. I'm on an island and thinking that Rodgers is really the only person that's capable of clipping off one of these higher-seeded teams, getting in there as one of the lower-seeded teams, and getting us an opportunity to possibly host a game later on, maybe even avoid Philly in the divisional round and maybe get them in the championship game, whatever. But I don't trust the football team. I don't trust the Giants. I don't trust any of those teams to clip anybody off. Now, of course, we got to handle our business wherever we land.
Sure.
But still, it'd be nice to kind of get some help. And I think Rodgers is really the only person capable of doing it.
Ooh, I love that, Tony. Thank you so much for the call.
That's what I've always thought about the 7th seed. The 7th seed goes and
so you've been talking about quite a bit.
I have. You got to think about your positioning, and that's why you got to keep playing to try and win the division if you can, so that you get that seed, and then then you'll have to play. Now, all of a sudden, say you've but to me, Green Bay is a team. Let me tell you this: the Commanders have already beaten the Eagles, beat them in Philadelphia, too. So I mean, hey, I'll take my chances with teams like Green Bay and also the Commanders. I don't like the fact that the Commanders have gone to Carson Wentz. I think they've hurt themselves on that chance. So It gives Green Bay an opportunity to maybe sneak in there.
Yeah, and
they got to beat Minnesota this week, though.
I will say this: the team I'm still the most fearful of is the Niners. I think the Niners are the team that is the worst matchup for the Cowboys.
Yeah, you're a situation too where you're absolutely right. The way they run the ball, the way they play defense, but they also will have a rookie quarterback.
They will have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. And he's a good one, though.
Their style
plays really good.
I think the quarterback is. The quarterback. It's more, hey, run the system, and that guy is making high level plays for them.
Yeah.
I think Purdy's played really well, but there it's more about how good that defense is.
Oh yeah,
and they put a lot of pressure with the pre-snap and their ability to run the football.
That quarterback that you hate, that everybody hates here, that put up 40 points on Philadelphia, right? Yeah. Same type of defense.
Yeah.
Same type of defense.
Yeah.
Going to choke the run, play really well on the back end. So I mean, I'll take my chances with anybody. I'll take my chances.
No question.
Philadelphia was one of the
I
better
bet Dak
defenses.
would be licking his chops to get another chance at the Niners as well.
Absolutely.
So that'd be fun. All right, we got CeeDee Lamb for you. Plus, we'll put a bow on this Cowboys 27-13 victory. Dallas Cowboys football will continue in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have
the Dallas Cowboys. Brought to you by
Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team. Bell Nunnally. Attorneys and counselors. United Ag and Turf. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Ford. Ford F-Series. The best-selling truck in Texas. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
On Bob Thomas's stat board, they have less than 3.5 minutes of possession time. There's a fumble by Dobbs that Lawrence caused. He picks it up and throws it right incomplete.
DeMarcus Lawrence, he is our player of the game as he set the tone early and was really good tonight. Almost had that strip fumble in that first quarter. Ultimately had 5 tackles tonight. A couple of pressures as well as Tank was dominant in the run and also getting after the quarterback as well. DeMarcus Lawrence, our guy. You can hear him on the flagship 105.3 The Fan with us on the G-Bag Nation as we are 2/5 of the G-Bag Nation. Usually Tank visits with us at about 4:45 every Thursday, and it's always fun getting to pick his brain. But I thought Tank was great tonight. I know Tank's gotten a lot of heat after signing that contract, and certainly the sack numbers haven't been where you wanted them, and that's fair. But, Brian, if you get an opportunity, I know you do, of course, to watch the All-22, and fans, I encourage you, if you get NFL Plus or NFL Premium, you have the opportunity to do it. They post it every Tuesday. That's where you can really tell the impact and the type of player DeMarcus Lawrence is.
Yeah, and to me, as a scout, you're always looking for those players that are complete players, that play. And it's nice if you can, rush the passer and get up the field. But if you're a liability in the run game, if you're one of those guys that's always going up the field, and then they're running the ball inside of you, and you're never able to redirect and get back in on a play or get a tackle for loss or play down on the goal line and knife through, beat 2 blockers and beat the fullback and get, create a negative play, you're really not much use. So that's the thing with Tank. He's one of those guys. I think he's got, a high football IQ when it comes to reading blocks, seeing what's developing in front of him, take a chance to, go around a guy, dip underneath, take him wide, take him back inside. There's a lot of really complete things to his game and the way that he goes about his job.
CeeDee Lamb also great tonight as he had another 100-yard game. CeeDee Lamb has a 100-catch season as he has become the 3rd Cowboys player to reel in 100 catches in a season. The only other 2 Cowboys with 100-plus receptions in a season were Michael Irvin, who had 111 in 1995, and then Jason Witten, who had 110 in 2012. So I don't think we'll see next week. I don't think CeeDee's going to be able to catch Michael Irvin. I think CeeDee's got 101 now on the year. I'd have to go back and double-check it. He had 11 catches tonight. But CeeDee, maybe 102. I think he was at 91 entering tonight.
There were a lot of players so far this season that have kind of grown up. And, there were so many questions. I mean, I'm not hearing anybody really talking about Amari Cooper not being here anymore. I know for a while there it was, it was pretty well, hey, you could have had both of them and all that. Sure. But they made a decision. They were fed up with Amari Cooper. Front office made the decision. Live with it. You don't probably have to like it. But that's their decision, and they moved on. And to his credit, CeeDee Lamb has stepped up big time, and he's very deserving of his Pro Bowl honor that he got. And I expect even bigger things for him as we get ready for this tournament.
I do too, and he's really the consistency now is there. And I mentioned this with Brad Sham. I don't think you can single cover him anymore. I think you have to show him that respect and bracket or double him.
Yeah, you have to move him around. That's the thing about it is with and we'll see how creative they really get with him. Yeah, and I think there's some more opportunities to be even more. I love that arrow route that they ran. I mean, we were talking about it. That route where Dak kind of moves the pocket to the right and then they run. And I said in the pregame, I'm like, I hope they run. I hope that's a a T.Y. Hilton route, because usually you can run that receiver through everybody moving.
Like a deep cross?
Yeah, well, it's what they call an arrow, and you just shoot it.
Okay.
Right, you shoot it just, you run straight to, like, you go from the slot area, the outside, all the way to the pylon. And so now you've got everybody flowing one way, and then you've got a runner coming back. And the ball just, I mean, they've run the play a couple different times, and it's worked out really, really well for them. And so it's kind of a nice little go-to play that Kellen Moore and Dak and CD have figured out.
Yeah, and he's been awesome. And how about Brett Maher, the Maserati? Again, that's been a heck of a find getting him back, but he had that 45-yarder, and with that, he's now got 137 points.
Leads the league, right?
Leads the NFL. He's also now set a franchise record for most points in a season in Cowboys history.
There you go. Good for him. There was so much, it was really chaos when we were out there in Oxnard and trying to figure out, what they're going to do, with Garibay and Haralahu and those guys, and as that competition wore on, you're getting the feeling like the old Cowboy regime in the past would have just kept Garibay and said, we're going to make this work. We're going to make this work, Bill. No, they didn't. They went out, and we were all kind of, when they signed, when they brought Maher back, we're all kind of like, man, wasn't he missing field goals and extra points? But
the extra points, I know, were really nerve-wracking for us.
I think he's like 8 of 10 from over 50 yards, which is, and needs a couple more of those to break the Cowboy record. I think one more will break that Cowboy record.
27-13, Cowboys get the win over the Titans. They're 12-4 on the year. Titans next week. It's a win and you're in situation against the Jags. No matter what happens with Jacksonville, they got to win. That's the battle of the AFC South. Cowboys will sit back and see what happens with the Eagles and the Saints. Eagles lose. Number 1 seed in the NFC East Division title. Still hanging in the balance. Thank you to Alec Medford, to Ruben Portillo, to Larry Flores, of course, to Tim Collins as well, and everybody who's been a part of this one here tonight, to my co-host, Brian Broaddus.
And to you
as
well.
We appreciate you. Thank you very much. I'm Zach Wolchuk. Until next week, you're listening to the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
All right, Pepsi-loving football fans, it's time we had a lesson in trash talk. And I'm not talking about that stuff that happens on the field. What I'm talking about is trash, and it's the only thing that belongs in your garbage can. Now, recycling might not be as thrilling as converting a 4th and long, but next time you're thinking about throwing that Pepsi Zero Sugar bottle away, just cap it back up and pretend you're down by 6 with the recycling bin wide open. Know the difference? Make a difference. Be a team player and recycle. Visit PepsiTrashTalk.com to learn more.
People will always come and go in our lives, but we all know those few who never left. The ones who make you stronger, build you up when you're broken down. The partners who've always had you covered. At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, we know what it means to be there, guiding you toward a healthier state of mind. Because the more we know as individuals, the healthier we all feel as a community through it all.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Texas, a division of Healthcare Service Corporation, a mutual legal reserve company.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With Blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at Blockchain.com.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Hey, Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. My Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
The Queen Sleep Number 360 C2 Smart Bed is only $899. Save $200 plus special financing. Ends Monday. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
You don't want to miss the next Dallas Cowboys touchdown just because you went to the local store to buy lottery tickets, do you? Now, you don't have to. Jackpot lets you buy your lottery tickets from your phone so you don't miss a beat. Download the Jackpot mobile app on your device today and enjoy a more convenient way to play. Watch your Dallas Cowboys win on the field while you play for a chance to win right from your pocket. Only available to eligible lottery participants age 18 and up. Please play responsibly.
What does it mean to be a part of Cowboys Nation? At Reliant, it means powering the home of the Dallas Cowboys and homes of Cowboys fans across Texas and helping out when needed most. As an electricity provider, it's our commitment to every customer and their family, and it's as strong as our Texas roots. It's our promise today and for generations to come. Reliant, proud to be the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
PUCT number 10007.
This edition of the Dallas Cowboys Pepsi Postgame Show, Pepsi, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, was brought to you by
AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Pepsi, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. Jigsaw Dating, proud dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's Miller Time.
The postgame show was also brought to you by
Bill Nunnally, attorneys and counselors. Goody Goody, your store for discovering fine wine, craft beer, and premium spirits. Find a store at goodygoody.com. Texaco, Star fans deserve Star fuel, and Texaco with Techron gives you unbeatable mileage. Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. And by DallasCowboys.com. Keep track of the boys with daily podcasts and up-to-the-minute blogging at DallasCowboys.com and on the official Dallas Cowboys app.
This has been a production of the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network.
Your turn it on, leave it on. Home of America's team is 105.3 The Fan.
Go low, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is After Hours with Amy Lawrence.
Can you hear me? That is the question. Can you hear me? I have faith. I have faith that the microphone is going to work, that the cord is plugged in. I have faith. I just want you to know you are in for it tonight. These next 4 hours, you are in for it because your host is fired up. Let's go. Do you know what tonight is? Well, tonight is a lot of things. Tonight is the kickoff to Week 17 in the NFL. Tonight is our last show before the college football playoff and the national semifinals. Tonight is our last show of 2022. And crazy but true, tonight is my last show before CBS Sports Radio marks its 10-year anniversary. That comes up on Sunday. I will share a little bit with you as we head through this edition of a show that will be my last one in 10 years here at the network about the decision I made. It was a tough one to make the jump to CBS Sports Radio when it was a startup operation in late 2012. My very first show here on CBS Sports Radio was not called After Hours. It did not have a name. You all helped me name it. It was a listener contest. I still remember who it was that provided the winning name for the show. Oi, I can also tell you this. Some of the creepy names that you guys came up with. January 3rd, 2013, my very first show. It was a Friday overnight. Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday evenings. That was when I started. 2 years in, made the leap to this time slot, Sunday through Thursday nights, or for those of you who listen early morning, Monday through Friday mornings. And this is where I have remained for 8 years. And by the time my current contract is up, it'll be 10 years. So you're stuck with me for at least 2 more. I can't tell you you're going to have me after that because I can't predict the future. Also, I get the itch sometimes. But 10 years, nothing to sneeze at in this business. As one of the original employees of CBS Sports Radio, I always mark the anniversary, and this is a biggie. So I'll have a couple of stories to share with you about the launching of the network and the decision that I had to make. It's been a lot of highs, but it's also been some lows. The pandemic, of course, working from home, seeing my boss get forced out, that was really difficult. Best boss I ever had. Still miss him. Losing the people that we've lost. Seeing our network roster shrink because of cutbacks and layoffs. It's also a reality for a lot of companies and industries over the last few years. It's not been all sunshine and roses, but I will tell you, it was the best career move I ever made to leave my previous network, to take a leap of faith, and to start over. I marked my 40th birthday here on CBS Sports Radio. It's definitely been a decade that has passed by in a flash, in a blur at times. And yet, as I look back, oh my gosh, Penny wasn't even 3 years old when we started the network. Now the dog is 13 plus. We just went to the vet on Thursday. It's one of the reasons why I had the night off last night. It's because I had a bunch of appointments today. Penny may be looking at a surgical procedure. Oh dear. My dog is so melodramatic. She tried to hide under the chair in the vet's exam room on Thursday. She was 3. She was actually not even 3 when I first joined the network. And now the dog is slower than molasses and teaching me patience on a daily basis. Man, that was forever ago, and yet it seems like it was yesterday. Crazy but true. We're about to mark 10 years here on CBS Sports Radio. So for that reason, I'm fired up. I'm excited to spend these last few hours with you before we head into the New Year's weekend. I would love to hear from you. Oh my goodness. Our Facebook page did not even exist until about year number 2 or 3. And now we have 43,000 followers on our Facebook page. So we've grown in crazy ways. I know social media is, and really Facebook is the devil, but I know social media is only a small measure of